So if you're a regular viewer, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, if I can ask you for one thing, it's absolutely free. Please hit the subscribe button and help us out massively. And I hope you enjoy what you see as we take you along our little journey through the season. So here we are, another week, completely different to last week. It's absolutely pouring down outside compared to the glorious sunshine that we had last week. So there'll be no bee work as such going on. But it's a bits a week. And I say bits because we're going to do bits of this and bits of that. So one of our first jobs on our list is giving our queen rearing incubator a bit of a blitz. It gets a little bit damp in here over winter. So I just like to give it a little clean out before we start using it. I fell a little bit foul last year. It came to May, we'd done our first graft, switched the incubator on only to find that one of the sensors was broken and it delayed us by a fortnight. So I want to be on the ball this year. So we started grafting by accident, to be honest. So I wanted to improve my own stocks. I had a lot of what I call mongrels. Bees that I had inherited, bees I caught from swarms, things like that. So I invested in a decent F0 breeder queen. And my intention was just to breed a few queens for myself, ultimately. So my first graft, beginner's luck, I think I grafted 30 cells and all 30 took. So it was probably 20 to 15 more than I actually needed. So we put them on Facebook selling page and they were snapped up straight away. So I thought, well, there might be something in this. So the incubator at the time wasn't big enough. We decided to upscale it to the one we've got now. So it started, ultimately grafting a few for ourselves, and then it progressed to grafting for other people. So a few people started coming on, can you do me 5, can you do me 10, so on, to the point where we are now. So whether it's OCD or just being on a good practice, I just like to disinfect everything before we start the beginning of the season, because once this turns on in May, it doesn't turn off again until September. So there's very little room for maintenance. So you can see we've got 4 shelves in here. So it's in order of action. So once we first put the cells in the incubator, they start from the top, and as they're coming towards the due date, we start moving them down. But I also made these little foam inserts. It allows us to set our roller cages inside, keeping the cells from getting damaged or rolling about or anything like that. And then once they've hatched, we then put them in the trays and the butler cages at the bottom, ready to get posted out. So as I say, we're a couple of months off using that at the moment, but it's just one of those jobs I may as well do while it's wet weather outside. One of our other jobs as well is getting through all these roller cages from last season. Some of them are a little bit sticky, a little bit of brace comb on them, things like that. So we'll get cleaned up and sanitised. Some of the other jobs have also been ticking off over the past week and over the weekend. We've made a massive dent into our frame, so we've only got a few of those left to build. I still have more to order, to be honest, but what we've got there is pretty much done. And if I spin you around, as you can see, we've been getting through those new boxes that we've purchased. We've cleaned those, disinfected them, and most of them are painted now. So the next job on our list, and we are getting through some this week, when I mentioned about the incubator, I mentioned about our queen butler cages. So our queen cups, we use fresh out of those each time we graft, but the cell cup holders and the butler cages, as I said, tend to get a little bit gummed up through the season with propolis, with wax, and the butler cages inevitably get full of honey and just generally sticky and nasty. So it started at the season, we'll give them a good blitz. So in this water kettle, it's just a Burco boiler or something like that. I don't know the make of this one, but we've just used soda crystals, Shopbox soda crystals, cheap enough, and are fantastic. Get them into propolis and wax and things like that. Just a shot of bleach in there, and we put some washing liquid in there as well, just to stop it, just break up that stickiness. So you don't want the water too hot for this. We've just got it set on, I think it's number 2. So just nice warm water, and we'll just soak these in for half an hour or so, and then we'll give them a good rinse and they're good to go. So there we have it, 30 minutes gas them at 2 on a gentle simmer, and they come out nice and clean, ready to go again for the queen rearing season. So we'll just let these drip dry outside, and then they'll be stored away again till we need them. Brood boxes that we've just taken out of storage, and on the floors of some of the hives, you can see all this dust. And that dust is old pollen. So the pollen mites have got in the frames. That's away at the pollen that was stored in the cells, and I've turned it to this on the bottom of the floor. It's nothing to worry about. It happens every year, to be honest. We'll just clean that off, shake the frames out, and they should be good to go again as long as they're usable. Yeah, again, we're back in our workshop, so inevitably a lot of our time at this time of year is spent in here, either making stuff or putting things together. Like you can see, we've managed to smash out all our frames now. So I thought it was an ideal opportunity to answer a couple of questions that we keep getting asked in the comments. So ultimately, people are asking how we break our pallets up, or what we use to separate our pallets. So I've responded a few times. So the main thing is our pallet breaker. So ultimately, it's just a large crowbar. eBay, Amazon, they have them on there. Talking around £20–30 for this, which I don't think is so bad. And for the nails, we use what's called an air locker. So this, again, another Amazon purchase, came via America. So pneumatic, put your air line on it, obviously runs off a compressor. Pull the trigger and it fires a large pin or bolt out the end, which ultimately knocks the nail at the piece of timber. One thing to bear in mind is don't put your hand on the back of it when you pull the trigger, and don't rest it on your leg or something like that, because you will fire the nail into your leg. Again, off the top of my head, around £40, something like that, but saves a lot of work with a hammer. So in the workshop today, at some point in the coming weeks, we will be putting our feeders on the bees. One thing I'm short of is eeks. So eeks are used to increase the space between the top of the hive and the bottom of the roof. So again, like most of our equipment, it's going to be made from pallet wood. So I've already pre-cut these to save another time-lapse video of me just cutting timber up. So little rebit in the end of the timber. We'll just sit in there like so, and then we'll just nail those together. So all we have to do is put the eeks together now. So there we have it. 4 eeks made as quick as that, literally a couple of minutes. As I said, everything was pre-cut to size. All we had to do was glue it and nail it together. Well, I'll crack on making more of these this week, so we've got enough to go on each hive in the coming weeks. So the next job I've got planned is making more crane boards. So as I said last week, and in previous videos, you might have seen that we use this insulated bubble wrap. So if it's good enough for housing insulation, it's certainly good enough for the bees. It's nice and affordable. It's dead easy to work with, and compared to wooden crane boards, you're saving an absolute fortune. I also use it on my polyneuks. Reason being, there seems to be a little bit too much of a bee space between the top of the frames and the bottom of the feeder on some of the polyneuks. So I find during the season, certain times in the season anyway, that will build up quite a bit of brace comb. If you're spending a minute on each nuke or each hive every time you inspect, cleaning those, that will soon add up over a season, and that's a lot of time wasted that you could be doing other things or inspecting other hives. So I just try to make it as easy as possible for myself. So in this occasion, I'm just using a queen excluder, which is obviously the right size. It's 460 by 460, and all I do is take a Stanley knife and I just run around the edge of it, cut the crane board to size, and then a little feed hole in the middle for when we've got syrup or fondant on there. So I'll crack on with these, and I'll see you in a minute. So there we have it. Out of that roll of foil, or insulation foil, we've got 35 crane boards. and 18 crane boards for our nukes, with only a tiny little bit of waste. So I think off the top of my head that costs around £30 for that installation, where a crane board buying from online shops are probably around £10 a crane board. So you can see there's a massive saving to be made just using this installation. Not only that, we've used it for the past few years now. I absolutely love it. So all I'm going to do now is cut holes in the middle of both the nukes and the full-size hives. And like I said before, that allows us to put either liquid feed on the top with our feeders, or we can feed fondant in winter and the bees can come up and access it with no problems.